In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts about fake it till you make it, or in other words, to be more specific, should you lie and mislead people about your services, your credentials, about your achievements online, just so that you can achieve your goal, your dream, or get the contract that you're looking for, or let's say you're trying to convince a customer to become your customer and pay you money. Should you be using such methods? And what is the solution I suggest? Especially if someone is starting new, when you have the talent, but you don't have any recommendations, references. Should you use this strategy? Because it's very easy to talk when you have, let's say, for example, me right now. I have nearly 20 plus years experience. I have 9,500 videos online. I have more than 10,000 articles I've written. If you Google search my name and you check on OpenAI, who is Machedo, anything about me, all the information is there. But what about someone who is starting off? Who nobody knows. And in a day and age where every service, there are competitors, there are so many people who promise the sun, moon, and stars, and some even mislead others. How do you survive? Okay, so what is the solution? So I'll offer my thoughts in this video. Feel free to comment down below and let me know what you think. How did this topic come to be is on my YouTube community page, I shared a screenshot of a gentleman who is, who looks like an Arab Emirati from Dubai, who runs a AI company. He took my services, was very impressed, and gave me a glowing review. So when I posted this, I did get some people commenting down below. Some people send messages. Oh, look at the desperation, simply fabricating fake reviews, or this is a fake profile. Ha ha ha, who are you trying to fool? So there are people who mention this. Now, I'm not trying to defend the post, but it's simple common sense. After 20 plus years of experience, do I really need to have a fake profile? Like, you can literally check my content online to know whether I'm good or not. That is number one. Number two is, if putting a fake profile or fake recommendation works, why am I putting only one, maybe in 6 months once, or maybe very rarely? Shouldn't I be posting it every time? And last, if not the least, final one, the person who criticized me obviously didn't fall for it. So if you, with your limited earnings, with your limited success, with the person that you are, you didn't fall for it. My clients who pay me big money, I'm not talking of small amounts, I'm talking of minimum $237 per hour, and they work with me for hours, or days, months, weeks. Those people who have more success than you, who are more financially smarter than you, more having more world experience. If you didn't fall for it, you think they would fall for it? So common sense. Anyway, keeping that aside, I will admit that when I started my career, that was nearly 25 years ago, and that time there was no social media dominance or addiction that there was. Instagram had just started, LinkedIn had just started. So that time, when the internet was kind of new for all of us, obviously when you advertise, if you have a recommendation, it has a little bit of weightage. And LinkedIn those days, you'll not believe, people used to openly tell each other, I'll give you a recommendation, you give me a recommendation. You say I'm a good guy, I'll say you're a good guy. You say I'm whatever you want me to say within the approved boundaries, I'll also say whatever you want within the approved boundaries. They were called ONA, Open Networking, ONG, or Open to Network, OTA, or some groups like Lion. I can't get the full form, but you just have to put your email in that list, and people will copy paste this list and add you, and then you can send fake reviews of positive recommendations about you exchange. So did I do that in the early stages of my career? Absolutely yes. Another way where I did ask people for fake reviews, or not fake reviews, but I would tell them, please, I'm starting my career. Can you say a couple of good things about me? So people would say, Loy is a great service provider. You should give him a try. Value for money. Even though they were not my client, but they knew I was a nice guy. Means they were my well-wishers. So that way, if you look at it, yes, I admit I did quote-unquote take fake reviews, but they were not promising you the sun, moon, and stars. I never claimed seven-figure income. I never claimed that this person took my service and now is multimillionaire or successful, or he got 10 job offers. I would not give anything that was, making tall tales or tall claims. I would fake the review where I would say, I'm a good guy, you can trust me, give me a chance. That was what I was doing. Now, You need to keep in mind that there was no one to guide me or us, and internet was new, and we were just trying whatever was possible. Would I recommend that you do it today? If and only if there is someone who can vouch for your character, they at least have an understanding of what you provide. They know that you can at least do an average job, and you are not making claims of what you don't know. Like, for example, if you say, here, if someone says he is great at Photoshop, but you don't know, Photoshop, that is you're outright lying and you're cheating people. Or let's say, for example, he is a master at Photoshop and Illustrator. He is the expert, and you're just a beginner. There you're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, but what I'm totally against is what social media influencers do. They will rent out a private jet and then they will pose as if, oh, I'm traveling by a private jet. They will rent out a Lamborghini and say, these are my babies, and as if they own them. They will ask girls or women or guys who are actors, or who rent out their time, provided you're decent and don't cross the line, that they will act like they're your friend, your partner, or put on an act. Or even Fiverr, we tend to have these gigs where they give you a paid recommendation, or they say, oh, his services are exceptional. Now, there are levels to how you lie, and you need to be careful. How much do you lie and what do you lie about? There you need to use common sense. Don't say you're an expert if you are average. Don't say that you have years of experience if you don't. Don't promise sun, moon and stars if you can't deliver. And most important is, don't mislead people. Like, let's say, for example, I take your money and I tell you, I'll guarantee you a job. You will get double the salary, sure. Because there are a lot of people who, when they approach me, they tell me outright, I don't mind paying you money. I don't mind taking a bank loan. I don't mind borrowing money. But you need to promise me that you'll guarantee me a job, or at least you'll get me 5 interviews, or you can promise me certain results. Now, if I wanted, I could say, yes, I'll guarantee you an interview, and ask some of my friends, just namesake, give them an interview, or just speak to them and say, yeah, we'll get back to you. And I'll tell them, see, I give you 5 interviews. Now, over here, despite the fact that it is a very harmless thing which I'm doing, I'm playing with people's hopes, dreams, and I'm taking advantage of their situation. And this is ethically and morally not right. Okay. So I manage expectations. I think that's the right word. I manage expectations where I tell them, I do not guarantee you interviews. I have contacts and connections, but I'm not going to introduce them to random strangers. And if they ask me, at least can you guarantee me a job? I can't guarantee you anything. Will you get a job? Yes. Eventually you will get a job. It's not that you're going to be unemployed forever, but I can't guarantee you'll get it this month or next month, or you'll be a very good job, because market conditions are out of my control. And given the fact that we are talking of a person's earnings, person wanting to support himself, his family, I can't play around with people. And especially those who are planning their career, or plan to migrate, or planning to take a life-changing decision. I cannot and will not mislead people just because I need money. However, where I can, let's say, for instance, the client says, are you good at your job? Okay. And if the client is ready to pay big money, now, if he says, at least give me one reference where, someone credible says he can do a good job. Now, let's assume that I don't have anyone, and this deal or this contract will change my life. It will save me from a massive financial trouble or a problem, or I'll be able to support my family. And if I can truly deliver, whether I have experience or don't, but I can deliver, I can ask someone to lie or tell them that, yes, Loy really delivered, Roy can really do it. He did this for my company, even if I didn't do, and get the deal. But then I have the responsibility, I have the burden on my shoulders. I must deliver because I've taken his hard-earned money. So that way I justify, and I wouldn't say recommend, but I would say I understand if you tell lies to get a gig or give a fake review or fake recommendation, as long as you can deliver it. And after you deliver it and the client is happy, fine, very good. So I hope it makes sense where I tell you when it's okay to fake it till you make it, where it's okay to lie to someone or tell them white lies, gray lies, or explicit lies, and where it is not. Like I told you, if you can't deliver, if you don't know, and you're just doing it to take advantage of the person's innocence or lack of knowledge just because you can make quick money, that's very wrong. When it was 20 years ago, you could get away with a lot of things on the internet. But today's day and age, in the day and age of social media, if you make a mistake, if you tell lies. Remember, when you give content, video, writing, anything, you're giving them evidence that they can and will use against you later on. And you cannot stop anyone from making a video. You cannot stop anyone from writing something about you. You cannot stop anyone from claiming stuff. And if they have the evidence to back it up, I'll tell you, it's like a white sheet, black dot. People will always notice the black dot. So be very careful what you say, what you claim, what you're letting out. Because if people can verify this information or they have it as evidence, and once you're exposed, then nobody will trust you.